6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Well, hello, my friends. Welcome to the Kyle Seraphin Show Locals Call-In program. And we are streaming live right now on Rumble and on Locals and on YouTube and on X. So thanks for joining us. How's it going tonight, y'all? It's going to be your night. You get a chance to call in, say whatever it is that is on your mind. That's what we do here. We're only going to do this for about an hour tonight because I'm going to be jumping in with the guys over at Badlands. And we're going to do a little sit rep over there. So phone number is available to you all who want to call in. It is the January phone number. It's only available to our local subscribers. You got to go over to kyleseraphin.com if you want to be part of it. Yeah, that's just the way it works. That's what this program is for. It's for you all, for the folks that want to be part of it. Should I throw more lights on? Maybe we'll put a little bit more lights on. Kind of a big day today. You guys were watching over on the American Radical podcast. You probably saw it. There was a confirmation hearing for Tulsi. I got to catch up on that. There was a confirmation hearing for Kash Patel. I caught most of it. I've got some highlights, which we'll play tomorrow morning on the podcast. But if you want to get involved in the program, you can jump in. Until that point, I'm going to kind of sit kind of quietly. We had a little victory. I'm working on confirming it. Again, the phone number for tonight is the 737-370 number. You guys can find the rest of it if you are a member. Go ahead and drop the link over here in the Rumble chat for those of you that are sitting on Rumble already. Kind of an interesting little bit of information. This just came out from NBC News, so I'll read that while we're kind of sitting here. Again, the phone line is open, so you guys are welcome to dial in and give me a holler, and we'll talk when you do. The news that came in from NBC, which is pretty interesting, is also being confirmed by my friends inside the FBI. 6 of the executive assistant director positions. The FBI is organized in a certain way. I'll tell you what that is in a second. But 6 of the EADs, the most senior people in the Bureau outside of those that are on the top 3, have been removed from their job. They were given the opportunity to resign or retire, but to get GTFO. And that just happened. That's pretty exciting. And 25 of the special agents in charge of field offices, I'm being told, have also had the same offer. Now, they may have been terminated. There's a possibility of that. There were some opportunities for that to happen. This may or may not have been the coup, the plan that has been enacted by people around Kash Patel, recommendations by those I may or may not know. Can't confirm or deny any of those things. But the guy who got rid of the suspendables, whose name is Spencer Evans, I'm waiting on confirmation, but it sounds like he was also removed. Spencer Evans is the former Deputy Assistant Director of Human Resources that was denying all religious accommodations. He is the root of the lawsuit that I have. And yeah, it sounds like he lost his job today. Okay, I'm getting another confirmation. Buddy just told me Las Vegas SAC is out. Yup. Adios, Spencer Evans, you MFer. That was me. I'm just going to tell you. If you didn't know it, I own you. I was always going to come get you. This has been going on since 2021, y'all. Mark a W. Take your shit. Get the hell out. I actually was hanging out with people that were in the Las Vegas field office on accident. They were at SHOT Show. And I told 2 guys, one who was a friendly, one who was not. I said, tell your boss I'm coming for him. But he should know that because I told him that a long time ago. I actually let him know that that was going to happen a long time ago. So, all right, phone line is open. You guys wanted to make a phone call. And honestly, if you guys are not feeling tonight, that's okay too. It's been kind of a big day here. I don't mind. This is the program we do for you. So let me throw the chat up here on the screen. I bet we have a chat that we can all pull up. What do you think? There's a chat. Boo-doo. There's our friends. How are we doing this evening, y'all? Katie and Nicole, and who else is there? Some others. Waving goodbye to the former FBI. Nothing wrong with that, y'all. Yeah, it would be nice if they had live streamed it, but oh well. So yeah, so let me talk about the org chart real quick because it's going to come up and it's easier to talk about it now while I'm thinking about it. I'm going to end up doing this with Alpha and CanCon in just a little bit over on the Badlands program. But here's the deal. The FBI is organized as such. There is a director right now that's an acting position. The acting director is a guy named Driscoll. He got put in by the Trump administration. Don't have a lot of experience with him, but my old boss, who I think highly of, used to work for him, said he's a great guy. Okay, fine. He's an HRT guy. Below that, you have the deputy director. That person used to work with Cash. Cash has faith in him. That's fine. I had people that said they didn't like him, but not everybody likes everybody. That's a thing. Below that is a person called the ADD, the Associate Assistant Director, I think, something like that. And, or the Associate Deputy Director. Yeah, so it's the Director, then it's the Deputy Director, then it's the ADD, the Associate Deputy Director. And then below that, you have the EADs. So all of the work in the Bureau gets done by these 7 different EADs. They are in charge of a thing called branches. There's a branch that does criminal and cyber. There's a branch that does counterterrorism. There's a branch that does intelligence. Branch does science and technology. There's a couple of others. And apparently 6 of the 7 were removed today. They were told that they were going to be going somewhere else. And there may or may not have been a plan in the works to make that happen that I have been aware of. So adios, senior FBI people. The coup has begun. If you guys watch the Cash hearings with us, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about it. Go ahead and give us a call. We'll chat about it. Like I said, if you're not into it, it doesn't bother me even a little bit. It's been a full day. I actually also got our interview tape today for our Sunday conversation, which we need a better name for. Maybe you guys have an opinion on what the Sunday conversation is supposed to be. Feel free to go ahead and reach out and let me know. What's it going to be called? Should we call it the interview? Should we call it the interrogation? Should we call it the Sunday sit down? The shows are for you. I do appreciate that you guys have pushed me into doing these because I do get to do some really neat conversations with some cool people. And that is why I'm doing this in the first place, especially when I get to share some cool stories. All right, our first caller is on the line, so stand by, you all. Let's go ahead and bring on our caller. Who am I talking to?
Rose.
Who is this?
How you doing? Rose?
Oh, hi, Rose. Your audio's in the background. I can hear it echoing in.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to turn it down.
You are indeed trying. Tell me when you are successful.
There we go. There we go.
Fantastic.
Sorry.
How are you doing this evening? How's North Carolina?
North Carolina is good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's good. Other than Tillis was pretty good. and Stein.
Yeah. Did you watch some of those hearings today?
Going on in our election. I did.
What do you think?
Cash, and I tried to. He did pretty well.
Okay.
I think he backslid on a couple things, but maybe just for the confirmation, but he did well.
Good. Did you watch any of the Tulsi stuff that I haven't seen yet?
I did. Her opening statement was outstanding.
Okay.
She held her own really well throughout.
Mm-hmm.
I see the whole thing, but I watched a good portion of it. They were trying to get her on the past support, supposedly for Snowden. She came out and said that it was not good what he did.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to be in that position to take the libertarian position, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
So what do you think? Are we going to see our people? Are we going to see our cabinet confirmed?
I think so. They're going to be close by Texas, but I think Cash is probably going to be the hardest one.
Really? What makes you think that?
They don't want him. They don't want him there. He destroys their narrative and their plans.
Do you think he's the most most threatening?
Already in motion, though. Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Well, you might be right.
Tulsi.
I seem to think Tulsi might be harder to get through.
Think so?
It's just my instinct. I don't know for a fact, but it did seem like she probably lacks the most significant required experience for the job that they're trying to get in. So if anybody was going to fight harder, but again, I think they also divided and failed to conquer. I think they got divided by themselves. They've been throwing the book at everybody basically. So what do you do?
Yeah, true.
They were never going to hit everybody, and I think they blew it.
I think, when was it? I think someone was saying that Matt Gaetz was kind of like what do you call? What'd you call it?
Yeah, he's the minesweeper.
Sacrificial lamb, kind of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yeah, that's true.
I think it is.
I actually. Good.
No, you go ahead. I'm listening to you.
I agree with you as far as policy until I saw the hearing. Now I'm kind of teetering on that. I mean, she was pretty strong. But we'll see.
We will indeed. What do you think's, what's your weekend got going on? You got something exciting coming in that's not political, that is just, are you going to breathe, or are you just going to celebrate a bunch of Trump wins?
I don't really celebrate the wins that much until we start getting some things going, which all these FBI leaving is a good sign.
Mm-hmm. Getting started.
That's awesome.
My screen right now is full of former agents and mostly current agents that are hitting me up and letting me know that that they're validating all of this information from the NBC report.
That's awesome. What about the other NBC report where they quoted you?
You seem really amused by that. Tell me what amused you.
It was a good effort. They took some little insinuation digs to Cash. They treated you guys pretty well.
It's Ryan Riley.
I know.
Ryan might be listening right now. We're going to slowly... We got Ryan to go back to church. So Ryan's going back to church. He's going to be okay.
Good.
We're just, baby steps.
Truth sets you free.
I think I'm a they used to claim that, like, remember they used to say that Ben Shapiro was the gateway to white supremacy. Do you remember hearing those things back a couple years ago?
I didn't really follow Shapiro much.
Well, the story was that Ben Shapiro was the gateway to white supremacy because he was a radical and he would help radicalize people. So you'd start with the YouTube story, and then you'd be listening to Ben Shapiro, and then you'd be listening to Jordan Peterson, then you'd be listening to Milo Yiannopoulos, then you'd be listening to Richard Spencer. That was sort of the story. Yeah.
Peterson I followed. Milo I followed only when I was on Parla, the 1.0.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just saying that was the radicalization sort of path that they used to suggest, that Ben Shapiro would lead you to white supremacy. That was what they used to claim. And I think that if you have a conversation with me, and if you're a liberal, or if you're even a hard leftist, but you have an open enough mind to have a conversation in good faith, you're going to come to the center left when you start talking to me, because you can't listen to what I have to say and think that I'm a complete lunatic. I don't feel like anybody thinks I'm a lunatic. And you can't argue with the factual information. You can argue with the way that I interpret it. So maybe you have a different interpretation. But I don't ever really attack anybody that I talk to face to face, or if I have a phone conversation. It's just not worth it to me. It's like, okay, well, I'll just ask you questions. And they have revelations that lead them closer to the middle. That's all I want. I just want people that are reasonable in the middle. Even if we don't agree on like why, we should agree on the what. So Ryan's getting there.
Yes. Good.
Yeah. Yeah. So hence a pretty fair with accurate quotations. It was a pretty fair article, all things considered. Consider who his editors are, consider what they're looking to do. They're in a left.
Like I said earlier, yeah. Comparatively fair.
Yeah, comparatively fair. I tagged him in it on purpose. It's like he and I had a 90-minute conversation that led to that article, and he only quoted me 2 times. So the gist of it was far behind that. And I know a lot of that probably he at least had to listen to things and go, yes, okay, got it. And at the end of the day, Cash did really nice things for me and my friends, which you know about. Our audience knows.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah. I'm hopeful. I sent him my best wishes tonight. I hope he's able to sleep. I know it'll probably be good to be done with that, but nothing until it's all decided, and then the real work begins, So that's tough too.
Yeah. How long do you think it'll take them to do the vote?
I don't know. Actually, I thought they got in Pete Hicks like pretty quickly. So
yeah.
Perhaps next week would be nice. That'd be fine with me.
That'd be good.
Yeah. What do you think it's going to be?
I'm headed back to Florida next Friday.
You got what?
I'm headed back to Florida next Friday. I'm going to see Lemon and EJ or Eric. Adding another stop to see James and Jessica.
Oh wow! You're going to go do the Rumble Morning Chat tour and go hang out with our people IRL.
Yes, IRL.
How did that come about? All right, that's the real story tonight. Come on, tell me what's going on here. How did this trip happen?
Okay, my parents spend like 3 or 4 months in Naples, which is just below Fort Myers, where Eric lives. And Lemon lives near there, so I stopped and saw Lemon on the way down last year. I go to visit. I met her and her husband on the way down, and then during the week, I met Eric. We went for pizza after his work. This time on the way down, I think it is, I'm going to stop by Space Center, near Space Center, and meet up with Jessica and James. And, you know, I went across country with Lori. You know that one. You
went cross country. I know. So, are you the official KSS ambassador? Is that mobile ambassador? Should we give you an ambassador title?
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good.
Director of outreach, something like that.
That works. As much as I post stuff and do everything.
I agree.
Get the word out.
You're getting the word out.
I'm the ambassador.
The ambassador. You can add it to your bio. It's official.
Yeah. Okay.
Where's the crew here? I'm looking into the.
Ambassador.
Let me look over here at these people. They're like, what is going on? Let me go drop the phone line into our locals chat for our locals folks as well. Oh man, there's a lot of locals chat going on. There it is. All right, folks. Now you have the phone number again. Okay. Add ambassador to. We need an ambassador, some kind of like an emblem. I don't know how to do that. You're already a chat mod, I think, but we're gonna add ambassador.
Yeah.
You just got a couple of invites to come hang out in other places too. You may have to add more stops to your list.
I can do that.
Okay. Well, you got to go back and tell your people in the chat what's going to happen next.
Okay. I'll try to set up some group things.
I like it. Well, that's a different. Yeah, as long as it's PG rated group stuff, we're for that. You are the KSS IRL ambassador. So there it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that in my bio.
I like it.
KSS IRL.
What else you got? You got any other thoughts for the night? Anything to say to your fans? You got fans out there now. You know that, so.
Okay. And the 007 always calls me St. Rose. Like, what?
He just did it again.
Now it's Ambassador St. Rose.
He just did it. Ambassador St. Rose, exactly.
Pennsylvania. I can go to Pennsylvania, see Mom.
Yeah.
And I have a friend in Pennsylvania to go visit too. That seems good.
See? You're going to get invites all over the country. You're going to have to start you're going to need like a Taliban or something. You're going to have to go travel around, or an RV or something. You'd be like John Madden.
Yeah. Austin, huh? If I go to Austin, can I need Kyle too?
Yeah, if you come out to Austin and I'm still here, we'll have a locals meetup. We'll do a live something out there somewhere. We'll figure it out.
That'd be awesome.
I'll allow you to coordinate it. Whatever he can't coordinate it. So he's just not allowed to. He's not an ambassador. That's the story.
I just saw somebody pass.
Yeah, you're getting invites all over the place. Look, you got invites to Pennsylvania, out to Idaho, to Wisconsin. You can make a world tour out of this thing if you want. So you keep me posted. We'll have to do a where in the world is Rose Lopez situation.
Where's Waldo?
Yeah.
I've come from Yoda to ambassador, making it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's an upgrade or a downgrade, but it is. It's the situation. Situation as it lays.
I used to be Yoda because my chat didn't work. I was typing all my sentences.
I
had
do
to
recall.
type them backwards so they come out straight.
I'm glad you fixed that too. That was one of the weirder things.
Oh, me too.
Do we ever figure out what that was about?
It was a Rumble thing. I don't know. They fixed it once, and then it came back, and it was still like that for months. I was typing sentences backwards so that they'd show up forward.
It was very weird.
It was weird.
We've had an interesting road together, all of us, including your Yoda time.
Yeah. I can speak properly now.
I'm pleased to have you back that way. All right, well, let me open up the line and see if there's anybody else that needs to share any thoughts. That's the best news, though. I'm glad you're going to go meet with people IRL, and I'm happy to. Look, I got to just share with this. One of my friends from the Bureau who's been around for like quite a long time, and he's one of the most noble creatures that works there. He reached out and sent me a text message and said, "Are you one of the Council of Seven?" And then I sent him the NBC story from Ryan Riley, and he said, "I should have gone to open source information first." I'll tell you more about that when we jump off here. But yeah, let's open the line and see if there's someone else that wants to weigh in on the Cash hearings, the Tulsi hearings, their thoughts, or if they're going to offer you. You can also call in and tell me where you'd like to see Rose, and she will decide whether or not it makes her travel schedule. She's very busy and she's very important, so she may or may not be able to come hang out with you. We do not guarantee IRL meetups, correct?
We don't guarantee.
We don't guarantee it, but you'll try. That's brilliant. Okay, Rose. Well, you have a lovely night. If you feel like seeing more nonsense, we're going to do the that Badlands thing on what's called Sit Rep. So we'll do that in a little bit here.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that.
All right, my dear. Have a great one.
You too.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Be blessed. Bye.
Okay, bye. All right, round 2, next call coming in. We have another caller on the line. That was quick. Who's on the line here?
Hey, Kyle. Metal Mike.
Metal Mike. What is going on with you?
Not much.
What do you think?
I wanted to call in. I wanted to call in for a while, but I figured give tonight a shot. Thursdays are never really good for me.
They're never really good for me either, I guess. But they're busy. What's on your mind?
Not much. I did happen to. Usually, I do end up, listening to you later in the day. Typically, I like to listen during the proper slot, but that never always works out. But happened to be working remote today, so I was able to catch your show, which rolled into the American Radicals, which I also love, thanks to you, kind of segueing them, through your connections. So, Steve Friend, I can't get enough of him and you and your repartee on Fridays. It's always the best.
There's a lot of snarkiness in there, isn't there?
Lots of it. And I actually think his personality comes out more on your show than in the Radicals. In the Radicals, he's kind of like, he's taking the lead. He's taking the lead most of the time. Garrett's, I guess you kind of always have to have one that's dominant and someone that's kind of more calming, Garrett. So that's kind of like how they work out best. So sometimes he does get black pilled. So I know how that can be.
You know what's funny? My father, who spent obviously a lot of time around microphones, he has an analogy for pitching and catching, like a baseball team. And so if you're the host and you're doing the interview, you're catching. You're calling, the pitch, and you're sending it over, and the pitcher sends it to you. The way you just catch it and return it. And when you're the guest or you're the interviewee and you're being interviewed, then you get to pitch and you get to throw the fastball and the changeup, and you get to do that. It's way more fun for most people to be the guest, which is why a lot of people don't know how to be a catcher. They don't know how to be a good host or a good interviewer, I think. And yeah, so you're obviously a little bit different. Steve's a little bit different on my show. I get to drag the fastball, and I get to get the change up, and we get a couple of curveballs out of him, which is fun. He doesn't always do that on his own program, I know.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's kind of like more like he's more himself, I guess, or he's more easygoing at that point.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of some of the burden of keeping the show managed off your hands, I guess. I don't know. For me, it's I could do one or the other at this point. Kind of funny, but it is it is nice to just pop in on somebody else's program and then just send it. You're like, I got zingers, I got anger, or I got humor or whatever, and you just get to play. So that's it's nice. Yeah. And it's fun to be able to mix it up and get a little different Steve out there.
Yeah, it would be good, I think, if you had Garrett too every once in a while on Friday.
He's really busy, apparently. For a guy with no freaking job, he seems to be very busy, and he's difficult to book. Just tell you that right now. I don't know what he does, that guy.
Because of the sweatshop.
You think?
Sweatshop, I guess he's been busy.
I think he's doing something else. It's not clear what that thing is, but I hope he's praying for all of us. I hope that's what he's doing. I hope he's like knocking out rosaries on behalf of America or something, but it's not clear. He's also doing Mr. Dad stuff, but yeah, no, I'd like to have Garrett on sometimes. Garrett and I have a special kinship, and it predates the suspendable time for sure. You know, it was one of those things. I actually got to know Garrett while we were both technically employed by the FBI, knowing what was happening. So,
right.
Mm-hmm. People are asking me if I'm teasing out something. I'm not teasing out something. I don't know what the heck Garrett does with his free time. I don't. He's a freaking mystery. You know, you got those friends where you're like, bro, what do you do with all your time? They're like, oh, I'm busy. I'm real busy. And you're like, yeah, but doing what? And they're like, you know, just stuff. What is that stuff? It's not clear. It's not clear to me what the stuff is that he's doing.
So if you think if Cash gets in, and God willing he does, do you think he can unwind whatever's going on with this whole suspension and actually undo it?
For Garrett?
Yeah, for Garrett.
Yeah, I mean, he can do it instantly. So, yes, he could do that. The question is how do you go back to work for an agency? How do you go back to work for any job where they stabbed you in the back and then you're just going to wait around for them to do it again? You know, for the number of people that are really excited about what we've done and what we've had to say, there's a lot of people that are really pissy, you know, and we've definitely ruffled feathers inside the FBI. There's no question. So it's hard.
Yeah, it's kind of like you said. It's kind of like you said with the analogy of the old. That's why I think Steve calls it always the old girlfriend. It's like sometimes like that ship has sailed and you really can't go back, even though you valued that time, whatever good times you did have during that period.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. You know, the trust is broken. That's why ex-girlfriends are exes. That's why you can't rekindling an old relationship that broke up under non-amicable terms be difficult. But I'll tell you this. The a-hole who tossed me out, who didn't do my religious accommodation, who screwed up, he lost his job today. Apparently he has till Monday, and then he's out the door. But he announced that he's out. So good riddance. You know, we may or may not have had a hit list of people that needed to be taken out, and they may or may not be on the way out the door. So the excitement that's coming in from my friends out there who are like, hey, these moves look like things that you've talked about wanting done. It's like, well, I may or may not have been telling people that should be doing that stuff. So we got FBI Barbie out there on Fox News saying that she called all this stuff. You believe that? Freaking
really?
Just the dimmest bulb, the most incapable of actual strategy, the most ineffective FBI agent, female, just totally useless. And she's out there claiming credit for stuff that, how embarrassing. How embarrassing to go on Fox every single day and know that you're basically cribbing off other people's notes and you're using other people's thoughts to be able to prop up your career. I mean, that's what a lot of people do in the FBI anyway, I guess. So whatever, but kind of funny.
There's a lot of them like that.
There's a lot of them everywhere, aren't they?
100%.
So what's
your take? What's your take on the Bongino front? Do you think it can ever be fixed, or you think it's kind of a done deal?
I have nothing to do with Bongino. I mean, it was never a thing on my end. It's always been on his end. He said something and he didn't have the, listen, I've upset people before. I've said things that I should not have said in my life. It's less and less common because I don't do that as much anymore. I'm much more cautious about it. But, like any other guy in the world, like you say something wrong, something comes out and gets perceived insult. You own it like a man and you just say, this was a mistake. I blew it. It happens. And I have no long-term animosity. I'm grateful that Dan was helpful, but it was a crap thing to do. All he needed to ever do was pick up the phone and fix it. You know, he's just gonna be like, hey man, I don't agree with you on this. And I would say, that's fine. That has nothing to do with what I think about you. Like, I don't think that your opinion on one thing is the entirety of everything that's gone on. He did. So it's not on my end, and it never would. Look, I just stopped listening. I said, what do you want to do about this? Because he said, we have to heal for the country to be able to move on. That was something he shared with me. And I said, okay, well, what do you have in mind? And his answer was, just not fighting. It's like, I was never fighting you. I just say when you're wrong. Which I expect people to say when I'm wrong too. If I started going out there and talking about how Secret Service does protective details and I'm inaccurate, which is likely because I don't know that as much about it, then that's what happens. So, anyhow, it's a shame. It's a shame because it didn't need to happen. It was a totally unforced error. And, it's a shame that Julie Kelly, who I literally have the text messages, they're all saved. I never deleted them. It's like, thanks so much for your help. Right. Oh, that's an amazing thing. I can't believe they did this. They say all these things. And then like the next one is just like, she goes, check that shit, mark it or something. And it's like, what? You can't threaten me. You're a middle-aged woman. You can't threaten me. I'm a grown man with a tomahawk over my shoulder. Like, what are you talking about? You can't say things like fuck around and find out to a guy who basically left the military because he wasn't able to go into combat. You can't say those kind of things to me. But that's my Super Bowl.
I remember when you said that. And like, you're so clever at finding the contributions. I'm like, I just can't see how you can square all those contributions to Democrats and say claim that you're Republican somehow.
Listen, I know how she can square it. She just can't do that out loud. She could have fixed that behind the scenes too. That's the other funny thing. She could have called me up and said, hey, I apologize. I was acting like an a-hole. It's like, okay, fine. I don't care. Thank you. That would have been real simple. What she probably did, and there's about a 90% chance this is accurate. I'm fairly confident that she probably does believe the things she writes because it's hard not to. And I think what happened was that her husband, who makes a lot of money off being a Democrat lobbyist, made those donations in her name with or without her permission, probably some without, when they came public. She couldn't say that she didn't know about them because that would make it a felony, and her husband makes the big money in the relationship. And so that would be the end of it. He'd have to go to jail. And so she didn't do that. So she just said it's none of your business. And that's it. When, good on her, I guess, for backing her husband. I think backing her husband is far more important than being, honest to an audience of people that she hasn't met. But at the end of the day, if you're making a living doing things that are dishonest, then you're a dishonest person, and that's a bummer. And that's no good for me. And, it's no good for you too either, it sounds like.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, like I said, that's how I found you. And so I thank God that I was able to find you through him. But, after I had listened to your show, and I'm like, something's not right. Something seems fishy. And I'm like, there's more to it. And as much as I like Bongino, I think you're more genuine. I just don't think he doesn't have that humility, like you said, to just admit, my bad. Like, let's patch things up and move on, or, apologize, just like anyone should be able to when they're wrong. And I don't think he can, for whatever reason.
The thing is about being wrong is it actually makes you better in the end, and being humble is actually free. So it's actually a big piece of the Sunday conversation we have coming up, because if you do things with humility, it's a lot easier for everybody, especially yourself. Like, there's nothing better than just knowing, like, hey, I don't know everything. And that takes a lot of weight off my shoulders too. So I would never claim to be perfect. I would never claim to know all the things. If you think that you know all the things, you got some real problems, because God humbles those people eventually. That's a shame. But, no ill will on my end. I don't have any animosity towards the guy. I'm disappointed. I just don't. And I'm glad that you came here, and I'm glad you listened, and I'm appreciative of it. I'm grateful for people that want to come in and tune in. And I understand that people get very excited about people they think they know. But at the end of the day, it's kind of the same thing. It's like when people got upset about James O'Keefe. It's like, who do you think knows James O'Keefe better, you or me? I've spent a couple dozen hours with him. You've seen him on TV. I'm just going to tell you, I probably know him better. And I have no reason to lie about it. There's no upside in attacking someone that people idolize. That's the other crazy thing. It actually hurts. It's a pain in the ass, because I get death threat or hate mail, whenever that stuff comes out, and whenever it gets back into the cycle. it stirs up a group of people that get really emotional and stupid. And it's like, I don't want them to be like that for them. Because, you know, imagine being so pissed off you send hate mail to the internet to somebody you've never met, you don't know anything about. It's a weird thing to do. And that's about 3 steps away from them showing up at your door. And if they show up at my door, it's fatal. So I don't want that for them either. So anyway, it's a shame.
Yeah.
We need a little dose of that in this world, don't we? A little bit more humility. It wouldn't hurt for everybody.
Oh my God, yeah, for sure. But everyone should be that. So going back to the hearings, and you know, I caught Cash, and I'd like to catch more of. I could probably look back at more of the Bobby Kennedy stuff. But I think he wailed a couple of good things back at them, Bobby and Cash. So, but with Cash, it's just like it's almost like a show trial. You know, it's just like Democrats just rip into Cash and, you know, bloviate all that nonsense and false narratives or half truths.
Yep.
And then you have a couple of useful idiots like Graham, which I thought was good enough in that, you know, he provided some good positive feedback on Cash. So we do need these useful idiots. I think Steve was reiterating Chuck. He's like, he's still talking. He's still talking for 20 minutes. I'm like, it's just kind of sad. You know, I mean, I think he means well, but it's like you said, he's reading a script. Anyone could do that.
Yeah, he's reading a script that someone 60 years younger prepared for him when we talk about Chuck Grassley.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like...
So,
He's a super senior citizen. I just have no use for him at this point, but you know, we're not going to get rid of these people until they die in office. Apparently that's what they aspire to do. And apparently his voters want that too, which is even sadder for them, but not for me. I dislike Lindsey Graham. I think he's slimy. I think he's greasy and gross. And
exactly.
all these people fawning over FISA 702 have absolutely no idea what it is. I would ask them to draw it out and tell me what it looks like, and I bet you none of them have ever seen it, ever. So,
no,
you know,
and that was, you know, Mike Johnson had an opportunity to do something about that too, and he didn't. They
all have been snowed or, you know, gutless. I think that Mike Lee made the best points of the day today in the Cash hearing, and I'm glad he pointed it out. And I think Cash actually can get in line with that. Look, it's hard to have a sophisticated conversation with somebody who's not sophisticated. You know?
Right.
It's hard to explain to them that there are certain places that even though you might need FISA 702 to be able to do certain missions like counterterrorism or counterintelligence, that should not be accessible to people that do criminal investigations. It's hard to explain that because these people are not sophisticated. So in order to convey that, you need a better audience. And I don't think that audience is a Senate hearing. So, you know, he kept the nuance to himself, except when Mike Lee brought it up. And I think that he agreed with the things that needed to be discussed. So Mike Lee did a good job. I think it's funny that they thought he was Lex Luthor. I couldn't get over the fact that I've always seen it, but I've never really named it. I couldn't get over the fact that I saw Ted Cruz today, and I immediately thought that he was Chubby Wolverine.
Yeah, I could see that.
You can't unsee it once you go look at him.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
It's not good.
No, exactly.
That's tough.
I mean, we have so mmany rhinos still too. Like, I mean, obviously we're not counting on Collins or Murkowski again.
Yeah, they're not even Republicans. I mean, they might as well just take over the banner and be Democrats. They're gross.
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be down to the wire, and hopefully it doesn't have to come to JD Vance again, but we'll see.
If it is, so what? You know what? As my buddy used to always say, a win's a win. So put it in the column and move on.
Absolutely.
There's no reason to worry about it. Like, if they can get it done, and then they just, it's kind of like what do they say? Like, what's the guy who graduates last in his class from med school called? You know what that's
Absolutely.
called? It's called doctor, right?
Yeah.
So it's a pass-fail experience, and I think that's the biggest piece. These theatrical things, the votes were already done beforehand. I'm guessing they already had them whipped before they even called the hearing. That's my guess.
I think so.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully.
I think Christy Nome seems like a breath of fresh air so far. What do you think?
I don't know what the DHS director does, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the secretary at DHS actually does. I saw Mayorkas do a bunch of demonic stuff and make really bad policy and stand up and record videos that I had to listen to while I was waiting in line to go through TSA. But I just don't know what they do. If the policy is we're going to go round up illegal aliens, then I'm for it. That sounds great. But, you know, they run the Coast Guard. Like, DHS is huge. It's like a $120 billion a year agency. I mean, it's massive. And it's everything from Coast Guard to ICE to TSA to CBP, Border Patrol, etc. I'm not sure what it does seem kind of goofy. She needs to get that body armor off, sit down at a desk and get back to work, whatever that work looks like. But I'm guessing these departments more or less run themselves too. That's the other funny thing.
I am liking Tom Homan though, but I've always
I wish he didn't sound like he was drunk all the time. Like, I think his age and his kind of like speech impediment does not make him a perfect vessel. But
exactly.
But yeah, he doesn't give a shit either, does she? He's just like, I don't speak really that great, but I'm just gonna say the thing, we're gonna get this done. And it's like, okay, man. Yeah, less talk. Just go hurt people's feelings.
He's like wrecking the leftist media, which is always awesome.
I think he just doesn't care. I feel like that's the right guy for that kind of job. That kind of attitude is what I expect when you see people do these things. So
yeah.
Well,
that's all I had, Kyle.
All right, brother. Well, Mike, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. We're gonna take probably one more, and then we're gonna shut this thing down because I'm gonna jump on this other stream because some of my friends leaned on me and said, "We need you," and I said, "I'm here for you." Not that
Absolutely.
I want to be.
Absolutely.
That's my life.
Keep up the good work.
Right.
You're doing a great job.
You're a good man. I appreciate you calling. Thanks so much, bud.
Thanks, Kyle.
All right. Have a nice night. All right. That means that the phone line will be open. We got, like I said, we'll take one more. Why not? You guys are going after the Chubberine, the Wolverine look. If you look at it the way he looked today specifically, it's not every day that Ted Cruz, he's actually kind of put on a little bit of weight, I think. And once you put on enough weight, the Chubberine, it made things look a little differently. It's the proportionality of it. All right, we got our last call of the night jumping on, so let's go ahead. You got the last call. Who's calling in?
Chaos for Harmony. What's going on, Kyle?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
And you got a 469. You out of Dallas? Are you out of Dallas?
I am.
Okay, good. That's all. I'm not going to say any more than that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I'm right up the road, man.
You are?
Right up the road. So I wanted to pick your brain. I wanted to pick your brain probably about 2-3 weeks ago. And then you weren't doing a call-in, and then I missed the call-in, and then you were out of town for the call-in.
Yep.
And so this is kind of an interesting one.
Okay.
So for this one, first I'm going to pick your brain, and then I'm going to ask you to put your tinfoil hat on, and then I'm going to ask you to take it off.
Perfect. I love it. Let's do it.
All right. So, in your experience of investigations and research, what due diligence have you done to verify government documents such as driver's license, birth certificates, nothing in person? More so, what I'm wondering is maybe what the process is for verifying items that are sent to you digitally via email, PDF, etc. What does that look like?
How do I validate things that come into me via email?
Yeah. Government documents.
I don't get a lot of government documents. I don't ask for a lot of government documents. I actually did, like most people that reach out to me tend to be pretty crackpot-like. So that's a full disclosure. I actually had someone reach out last night, and we had a quick conversation. I was actually talking to Jeremy, who is the producer for Sean Ryan's show. So we're having this background. He said, hey, I got somebody that might need to pop out and talk to you. And I said, fine, yeah, send my DM over, and I'm happy to talk to him. So I did. And people make all kinds of claims, whether they be documents, whether they have videos, I've got, like that kind of stuff, right? So people say, I have evidence of fill in the blank. And I always start the exact same way. My question is, what format does your evidence take? I say, why are you in a position to get that evidence, right? And how did you obtain it? So if you were coming to me and I was going to bring you a government document, like an email, let's say, that says something went wrong, like the FBI is going to be investigating parents at school boards or fill in the blank, I would ask the same question. And so my answer would be, I'm a current DOJ employee. I received the email directly and I have the, the through line on it. And because I'm a current employee, I'm in a position to get it directly, and it takes the format of a printed out email from my government email address. So that would be the way that I would answer the same question, right? That's how I do it. I generally start with that. I ask questions about the same way that I would ask any source about their placement and their access for information. And so my evaluations are pretty straightforward on that. And then usually people discredit themselves right away. They usually do not find, I have a friend who knows a guy that does. It's like, okay, well, that's indirect at best. And then they'll say, well, I have this other stuff going on. It's like, look, I'm not in a position to validate that. So I'm not willing to take it as an intake right now. Bona fides can be established once we know you're making this claim. But again, what's your access to the information, or what did you do to get it, and what is your placement that allows you to have this kind of access? Serious allegations require serious proof. That's another thing I sent last night over there. So, are you in a position to get it? Can you share that with me? And most people can't. So it's actually a really straight conversation. It's really short most of the time.
Okay, so if so that being said, if it's coming from a very, very reliable source,
how do you validate their reliable source?
I mean, it's in this particular instance. I'm going to keep it vague for now. But let's say you validate that it is a reliable source.
Okay.
And that the information provided is valid, but there's some seeming shenaniganry involved from it's a valid source. What does that do for the source? What does that do in terms of how you look at the validity of the information from the source?
If there's shenanigans, where's the shenanigans in the chain again?
In the information that's provided. You know that the source is reliable, but the information that you have seems like it's been altered.
Well, yeah. So, okay. So then you have, it discredits the source if they can't explain why that would be. Or if they don't think that it's, if it's pretty obviously altered and you're seeing it and they're claiming that it's not, that discredits the source, does it not? The information they're bringing. If they're bringing you altered information, that's not a full disclosure. So somebody is now giving you information that is incomplete or deliberately inaccurate. So either they know or they don't know. Either they're a good judge of character, or they're being deceptive, or they're not a good judge of what they've got, and then they're not reliable either. So all those things are, it's a totality of the circumstances situation, I would think.
Okay.
In the Vegas way that we're talking about it, that's what I would look at.
All right. So now I'm going to ask, put on your tinfoil hat for a second. All right. In December, the Hodge twins released a video of a graphic design artist who went in and pulled Obama's long-form birth certificate from the government archives and found that there were Photoshop elements in the document directly downloaded from in the video. He directly downloaded it from the government archives and showed the artifacts that were altered in the document. And this was around Christmas. All right. It didn't get a lot of attention. I haven't heard anybody talk about it. It piqued my interest. So I immediately went and downloaded the PDF from the exact same source.
What is that source, though? That's the problem.
It is Obama's WhiteHouse.gov.
Yeah, that's not
I believe is what the link is.
Yeah, that's not a real website. I mean, it might be a real website, but that's not a government website.
So it's not a .gov website?
Not to my knowledge. No, it sounds like a redirect. The government is not hosting Barack Obama's birth certificate. I would be shocked to find that out. Is this at his White House library or something? You tell me, I'll go look at it right now. But
it's obamawhitehouse.archives.gov.
Obama
It's
White House.
obamawhitehouse.archives.gov.
Let's see what this is. This is historical material frozen in time. The website is no longer updated, and links to the external website and some internal pages may not work. So they downloaded and archived it. Okay, and then where did this exist?
So let me look this up.
We'll do this in real time. I'm happy to look at it.
Yeah, Obama White House. Birth certificate. Let me look this up. It's a blog post on obamawhitehouse.archives.gov/blog. Yeah, this is a long /2011/04/. If you Google President Obama's birth certificate, there's President Obama's long form birth certificate.
And he uploaded it to his own archive webpage?
This is
as part of a blog?
From the Obama White House at archives.gov.
Mm-hmm.
This is the government website.
Okay.
And there's the birth certificate PDF can be seen here link. It's not that one.
Got it. Okay, so Obama didn't want distraction. He thought it wasn't good for the country. He requested the long form, and it has been published here, apparently. It's an article written by someone named Dan Pfeiffer, who's a former assistant, and you can view the PDF here. And so you viewed the PDF, and you're... Oh, God.
No. It's not the birth certificate can be seen here. If you go down further, it's President Barack Obama's long form birth certificate can be seen here. Yeah.
It's not there.
That one.
Got it. Okay. Fair enough. So there we have it.
Yeah. So I tried to recreate what happened on this video. Now I want to take the tinfoil hat off.
Okay.
Because I tried to recreate what was shown in the video.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it through Adobe Acrobat. I don't have Adobe.
Okay.
So I went through a couple of different methods and methodologies, and I was like, is this the way to do it? Is that the way to do it? And everything was coming up. Okay, this is inaccurate. The information that I was given from this video, from this podcast, doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided that I was going to open it up on Samsung Notes. And so I opened it up on my phone on Samsung Notes, and I recreated exactly what it was that he was doing through Adobe Acrobat.
Mm-hmm.
And I recreated it exactly, which in doing so, the signatures, the typed font format, there are several elements that have been altered.
Okay.
And edited. And so my question is, I guess it's not really a question. It's more sort of just trying to figure out, am I crazy in that this shouldn't be a thing? It should just be a PDF document, not an editable PDF document or a document that can be shown that it has been edited via Adobe or some other PDF altering software.
Honestly,
from a government website.
Yeah, honestly, like I find it really uninteresting at this point in time because it's too late. Like he already did 4 years worth of damage to this country.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I guess
so when you look at
there's a ton of damage that's been done from the Obama.
Yeah. So whether or not he should have been here or wasn't, it's kind of like, was Joe Biden the president? Yes. Should he have been the president? Probably not. But it's kind of that's in the past tense.
Was he really the president though?
Yeah, he was really the president. That's the whole point. Yeah, I mean, well,
No,
somebody was
but I
running
think
the
it's
office,
interesting.
right? I think the office was being run on his behalf, but sure. But yes, he physically sat in the office. His portrait's going to go on the wall. He's officially going to be recorded with all the bad decisions. And
Right.
so, and honestly, it ended up probably, God's plan is always kind of an interesting little animal. I think it actually worked out in the favor of the American people, even though
I
it's going
think so too.
to take us another decade to realize it. But I think we can kind of see the instincts of it. End of the day, this birth certificate picture, it's not what my birth certificate looks like. It looks like junk paper. It looks like it was transcribed or they removed the background and dropped it on top of something else. Could it be edited? Of course. Does it make any difference to me at this point? Probably not. Should it be something that looks suspicious? I don't know. It gives people things to do that are not me. I just don't, at the end of the day, here's my non-tinfoil hat answer is it happened. He did what he did. Whether he was a righteous president or he was, faking his citizenship or anything along those lines, all the damage that got done was legitimately real. All of the time that he spent in office, he was the boss, making the calls. People listened to him. I think that he was probably steering the ship for the last couple of years as well, or at least had one of his hands on the wheel. And
Yeah, I think it was more than one.
yeah, possibly. I mean, I think other people had their way in as well because he had a pretty empty vessel. But I'm looking at this birth certificate and I'm like, nothing about that looks like my birth certificate. Mine's not that old, but like some of the way that even just the cross hatching background goes across. I mean, this was obviously scanned in under a record book, and then it was photocopied from a record book onto that kind of goofy paper and then stamped. And I just can't waste energy mentally caring whether or not Barack Obama faked his birth certificate ever back in 2011, or whether it was it was a controversy that it's too late. All that stuff's way too late at this point.
No, but here's what I think that it brings back to, I think, the current administration and into the present. How many times has Trump been right?
Yeah, he's been right a number of times. He's been wrong sometimes too, but he's generally, I think, he leans towards getting things right. Mm-hmm.
And I think that we often give ourselves less credit. I think we give ourselves more credit for being questioning of things that sound incredulous, and less credit where I think credit is due for people who sound a little bit more outlandish.
Yeah, I think we give default to institutions, but there's no reason to give defaults to institutions at this point in time. And so I think more and more people are going to start questioning the narratives that are put out by anything. And so, yes, that's great. I think that's actually a really good move. That being said, it is...
I mean, it's irrelevant at this point in time.
It's irrelevant in this case, but I don't... I think
interesting point.
I think the lasting, kind of to wrap up on this, since we're about to jump off here, but I think the end of it is that the relevance is that they've discredited themselves for a long time, and so they burned a lot of bridges. They threw everything they had at it, and thank God we have a different opportunity. And I'm really hopeful that Donald Trump makes good on 40% of what he said he would. If he does 40%, America will have a victory. And we will slow the decline. And if he does 60% of it, we might even gain some ground back. And both of those things are fantastic ideas for me. So I'm moderately hopeful.
I think we're closer to 60%. And
well, we'll see. We got a lot of road in front of us. So but
we do.
Yep. No doubt about it.
Based on the current trajectory, I think probably 60% at least.
Oh yeah, if he keeps up at this pace, we're going to go to 80%. In which case, hallelujah. You'll hear me call it every time.
Kyle, that's a little bit optimistic for my book.
Hey, if he keeps rolling at this speed, we've done an awful lot of things that I would not have expected in the first week and a half. So we're tracking really well, but that's a pretty short timeline to be able to make forecasts off. So I'm going to just. Like I said, 40% is a win for me. I'm a pessimistic type of guy. If he carries on at this point, I think he'll get twice that. And you think he'll get somewhere as a level off at 60%. And that would be a great win as well. So, from our mouths to God's ears, I hope. I really do. I really hope that goes.
Chastatel, I think he's going to get confirmed. I think it's going to be another split vote.
Okay.
Final thought.
You get the final word.
What would you like to see from Trump in the next 90 days?
I don't know. I'm going to sleep on that. How about I give it to you in the morning? Does that sound good? I'm going to ask Steve Friend as well.
I watch every morning. So
I will give you the answer in the morning. What we want from Donald Trump in the next 90 days. One thing, yes? One thing like my top wish list?
yeah.
All right. I will bring that to you in the morning when I've reflected on it. I don't want to come off the cuff because I don't have a good answer off the top of my head.
I appreciate that. All right. Thanks, Kyle. You have a wonderful night.
Do the same. Thanks so much for calling in. I really appreciate it. And thanks for being a subscriber. It's awesome.
Yes, sir. Adios.
And there it is. All right, folks, that's the call-in show for the night. You can find me over on the Badlands channel. I'm going to jump on with Alpha Luna, who we just had on the program the other day. We're also going to jump in with CanCon, who's going to be talking Cash Patel stuff. So I don't know what they're going to ask me, but I'll have some answer. Hopefully, I can reflect on it. And thank you all for being part of our locals calling community. I know it's a little smaller show, but we do it for you. So God bless all of you. Have a great night. See you in the morning for a friendly Friday. Here's your outro.
Thanks for listening to The Kyle Seraphin Show, streamed live weekdays on rumble.com/Kyle Seraphin. Follow Kyle on Twitter, Truth Social, and Instagram at Kyle Seraphin.